Confusion doesn't mean you failed. It means life is moving and you're being invited to remember what you truly are. Welcome, my dear friends. I am so happy you are here. This channel is a space for personal growth, energy healing, and Reiki inspired practices. Gentle reflections that help you come back to yourself, even when life is loud, even when your mind is busy, even when your heart feels a little tender. Before we drop in, a quick little note. If you've been here before and you thought you were subscribed, can you just take 1 second to check? A few people have told me YouTube sometimes mysteriously flips that switch off. So if you'd like to stay connected, hit subscribe. And if it feels right, tap the bell so you actually receive the videos when they come out. And if you'd like to go deeper with us, longer meditations, more intimate practices, and the kind of content you come back to again and again, we have a space called the Me First Club. It's where we slow down even more and where we practice filling your cup first so you can meet your life with more clarity, more steadiness, and more of you. Now, before we begin today, I want to give credit to Javier, owner of HVCM Studio in Singapore, one of our certified Shihan. He posted something on Facebook that stopped me in my scroll. He shared these 4 characters, and his translation was using the false to cultivate the true. And I want to sit with that together slowly because this is one of those teachings that isn't meant to be understood only with the mind. It's meant to be felt. Let's shift into today's reflection. So, wherever you are right now, let this be a small turning point, not a big dramatic shift, just a gentle return. Feel the room you're in, the air on your skin, the weight of your body being held by the chair, by the floor, by the earth that never forgets how to support you. And if you like, only if you'd like, let your hands rest somewhere that feels natural, maybe in your lap, maybe palms open. Or maybe one hand finds your heart, not to fix anything, just to acknowledge, I'm here. And if your other hand wants to rest on your lower belly, your tanden, let it. Not as a rule, just as an option. Take one slow breath in and let it out like you're exhaling noise. And another breath, as if you're giving yourself permission to arrive without performing, without explaining, without rushing. Good. Now, let's talk about something that sounds philosophical, but is actually deeply practical. There's a question that lives quietly in the background of so many people's lives. A question we don't always say out loud, but we feel it, especially when things get intense. What's real? Because one day you feel steady, and the next day you're pulled into a storm of thoughts. One day you feel clear, and the next day you're tangled in emotion or roles or expectations or a version of yourself you don't like. And then the mind does what the mind loves to do. It starts ranking everything. This is spiritual. This is not. This is progress. This is failure. This is truth. This is illusion. But what if the illusion isn't the enemy? What if the shifting, messy human world is not a mistake, but a training ground? What if the very things that come and go, your moods, your stories, your titles, your wins, your disappointments, are not here to block the truth, but to grow it? And that is what those 4 characters point to. Using the false to cultivate the true. Not escaping life, awakening inside it. So let's soften the words for a moment, because false can sound harsh, like an accusation. But in this teaching, false doesn't mean deception. It doesn't mean someone lied to you. It doesn't mean you're foolish. False simply means what changes. The world of form, the world of appearances, names, labels, emotions, identities, everything that rises and then fades. Your body in its seasons, your roles, parent, partner, leader, student, healer, even your thoughts, which arrive so confidently, as if they're permanent truths, and then they disappear, replaced by the next thought and the next. So false is the moving surface, and true is not a belief. It's not an idea you have to force yourself to accept. True is the part beneath change, the part that remains, even while everything else is rearranging. The steady essence, the quiet witness, the presence in you that can notice, I'm angry, I'm worried, I'm excited, I'm lost. Notice the difference? Your emotion is real as an experience, but it isn't the deepest truth of who you are. Because even when you are angry, something in you is watching anger. Even when you are anxious, something in you is aware of anxiety. Even when you feel completely confused, something in you knows, I'm confused. That something is the doorway. It's like the sky and the weather. The weather can be loud, thunder, wind, rain, but the sky remains the sky. And the mind will try to say, yes, but my storm is special. It always does. But this is where the practice becomes very gentle and very powerful. You don't deny the weather. You don't pretend it's sunny when it's not. You simply remember, you are not only the weather. You are the sky and the weather moving through it. So the false is the wave, shape, motion, sound. The true is the ocean, depth, vastness, source. And here is the most beautiful part. You don't get to the ocean by rejecting the wave. You meet the ocean by fully understanding what the wave really is. So when Javier translated those 4 characters as using the false to cultivate the true, what I hear is this: don't fight the world of storm. Don't run from it. Don't shame yourself for being human. Don't wait until life is perfectly quiet before you decide to become clear. Because life is not going to politely stop moving for you. Instead, use it. Use the temporary to remember the timeless. Use the changing day to find what does not change. Use the very things that pull you out of center as your invitation to come back. This is where the teaching becomes almost tender, because it says you don't have to escape your body to be spiritual. Your body becomes the instrument. You don't have to abandon your emotions to be wise. Your emotions become the mirror. You don't have to erase your roles, your work, your responsibilities, your relationships. Those become the dojo, the training hall. It's like the false gives the true a stage. We use this temporary body to practice steadiness. We use language, imperfect as it is, to express something sacred. We use relationship to reveal where we still cling, where we still hide, where we still soften. We use success to practice humility and failure to practice compassion. So you don't reject form, you see through it. And that changes everything, because now you're not trying to get somewhere else. You're learning how to stand right here in the middle of ordinary life and meet it with clarity. This isn't about doing above it all. This isn't about being above it all. It's about being awake inside it. And when you do that, the false stops being a trap. It becomes the path. So let's bring this out of philosophy and into your actual day. Because this teaching isn't asking you to sit on a mountaintop. It's meeting you right where you live. Imagine scene 1 where you are triggered. Okay? Someone says something, a message arrives, a tone, a look, a silence. And suddenly, your whole inner world tightens. In that moment, the false is loud, the story is loud, the identity is loud. How dare they? Why do I always? This means I'm not respected. And the practice isn't to pretend you're unbothered. The practice is softer. Something in me is triggered and I can feel it. And right there, you meet the true. Not by fixing the situation instantly, but by remembering the one who can notice the trigger is bigger than the trigger. Now imagine scene 2 when you succeed. Okay, you do something well. You're seen, you're praised, you're appreciated. And it feels warm, it feels good. But watch what the mind does. It wants to grab the warmth and make it permanent. Now I am safe. Now I am enough. Now I am somebody. And the practice is not to reject success. The practice is to enjoy it while staying free. Success is here and it can pass, and I remain. That is clarity. Now imagine scene 3, when you fail or you think you failed. You fall short, you disappoint yourself, you replay it. This is where the false becomes heavy, because the mind turns an event into an identity. I failed, therefore I'm a failure. But this is an illusion with teeth, and the practice is a quiet interruption. A moment happened and it passed. A lesson is here, and I can receive it without turning it into a sentence about who I am. Now imagine scene 4. When you compare, you see someone else's life, their success, their beauty, their certainty, and something in you shrinks. Comparison is one of the most convincing false worlds because it feels like truth while it's happening. But the practice is simple. Comparison is arising. That's it. Not judging yourself for it, not spiraling into it, just naming it like you would name weather. Clouds are passing, and then return. Return to your own path, your own rhythm, your own practice. Imagine scene 5, when you don't know. This one is big. When you don't know what to do next, when the future is unclear, when you can't see the path, the mind panics because it wants certainty to feel safe. But the true isn't found in certainty. The true is found in presence. Even when you don't know, you can still breathe. Even when you don't know, you can still be kind. Even when you don't know, you can still return to center. And this is the laboratory. Life gives you the falls, the changing scenes, so you can touch the true, the steady one within. Again and again. Not as a concept, as a lived experience. So imagine this for a moment. A wave rises. It has a name, a shape, a height. It has a beginning, and then it breaks. And if the wave could think, it might believe its entire life depends on staying tall. It might fear the moment it collapses. It might compare itself to other waves. It might try to hold its form forever. But the truth is, the wave is never separate from the ocean. Even when it rises, ocean. Even when it crashes, ocean. Even when it disappears, ocean. So when we talk about false and true, it's not that the wave is bad and the ocean is good. It's that the wave is temporary expression and the ocean is the deeper reality beneath it. Your emotions are waves. Your roles are waves. your days, your seasons, your victories, and your losses, waves. And the mind sometimes treats every wave like a final verdict. But this teaching is a gentle correction. Your daily experiences are not proof that you've fallen away from truth. They are truth in motion. Confusion doesn't mean you failed. It means life is moving and you're being invited to remember what you truly are while it moves. So the question becomes, can you let the wave be a wave without forgetting the ocean? Can you let your life be your life without losing yourself inside it? That is clarity. So now, let's not just understand this. Let's feel it very simply. And if you'd like, you can bring your hands in, not because you have to, only because sometimes the body helps the mind to remember. If it feels natural, let one hand rest over your heart, right in the center of the chest, not as a dramatic gesture, more like a quiet confirmation. I'm here. And if your other hand wants to rest on your lower belly, your tanden, that steady, energetic center, let it settle there. Heart and tanden, a bridge and a root. Now take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine you're releasing the need to figure everything out right now. Because clarity isn't always an answer. Sometimes clarity is simply knowing where you are. Let your awareness sit under your hand at the heart for a moment. Feel what's here without fixing it, without naming it too quickly. And then let your awareness drop down to Tanden. Heavy, warm, grounded. As if your center is remembering itself. Now, quietly notice. Thoughts can move, feelings can move, the day can move. And something in you stays right here in the middle of change. There is a steady point. Take one more breath. And if you're carrying a question or a worry or a looping thought, you don't have to push it away. Just let it become the falls, the moving wave. And let your attention become the true, the ocean beneath it, breath by breath. So as you go back into your day, here's what I hope you carry with you. The changing world is not your enemy. The thoughts that rise and fall, the emotions that visit, the roles you wear, the moments that sparkle and the moments that ache. They aren't proof that you're far from truth. They are the place where the truth can be cultivated, not by rejecting your humanity, but by living it consciously. So the next time you feel pulled into a wave, a reaction, a worry, a story, try this. Let it be the wave and gently remember the ocean. That remembrance is clarity. And if this reflection supported you today, I'd love for you to subscribe and just double check that YouTube hasn't mysteriously unsubscribed you. It happens more often than we'd like. And if you want to go deeper with us, longer practices, more intimate meditations, and a space designed to help you fill your cup first, come join us inside the Me First Club. Even if you join for a month, you'll have something there that you can return to again and again. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.